Talk to us about the Nazca lines and maybe some of the lines that you were able to find that were not documented and that haven't been, and they were really far away from Nazca, right?
Yeah, so that's I mean, the Nazca lines are by far the most famous geoglyphs in Peru, but you will see that there are geoglyphs even further to the north, close to Ecuador and stuff. So this was a practice that was happening. But the geoglyphs I found they were in the Norte Chico region, and the Norte Chico were the what has been called the oldest advanced civilization in the Americas, going back to 3,000, 3,500 BCE, so 1,000 years before the Great Pyramids, and what is currently stated as the dating of the Great Pyramids of Giza. So where I found these geoglyphs was right in their heartland. And there is one documented geoglyph for this culture on the record. These weren't. And so I saw them. It was a face. It looked like an emoji,
There it is.
Yeah. And so this thing is just staring at you, staring at the satellite. And then I went there and I saw these.
That's the sad emoji, right? It's like, stop looting me emoji.
Or, where something happened and we're starving,
Right.
And it's, but this wasn't it. There were a bunch of shapes and, I mean, you could tell erosion has gotten to this area. But here's the thing: if the Nazca were making their lines around 200 CE, this is 3,500 years before that, and I've reached out to archaeologists. I've reached out to the team that is responsible for excavating sites in this valley, and nobody's gotten back to me with information about it. So discoveries are still happening. You know what I mean? And so I saw it and I was like, did somebody make this? So I boots on the ground. I went and so that was one of the major undocumented finds from this last expedition. And another one is a temple. I found there's a video on that. It's one of my earlier videos on the channel, Ryan, if you could find it. But a legitimate undocumented temple that Ministry of Culture doesn't know about. There are no signs, no place markers, no archaeologists had ever been there. The locals pointed me to it. I mean, I saw it on Google Earth, but when I went there, and typically the locals won't know. They won't know much of it. I can't say the majority of time when I've come across locals, they won't necessarily know the history of the culture, though we know there are some ruins there. We used to play in them as kids, and
it seems like nobody really knows the history. I mean, like even the Nazca lines, it's a total guess as to when those were made, and
that's a good point.
I mean, it could be anywhere from certainly that 800, 900 year history of that culture. It could be the prior people that lived there. I mean, it could be, who knows, right?
Yeah, you're absolutely right, man. They've kind of standardized guesswork.
Yeah.
Guesswork because, you find an artifact and all of a sudden it dates to this culture.
Right.
And I mean, the truth of the matter is I subscribe to the idea that things are typically a lot older than we attribute them to. I mean, the Nazca lines are fascinating. Why are you making these giant, and how are you making them so geometrically perfect, and why?
Right. So you went to this sad emoji? And
I did.
And what does it look like from the ground? Like, how deep is it? How did they make it?
So it appeared like kind of the same way they made the Nazca lines, which was by removing the top layer of soil and exposing the different colored soil underneath. And so, but when I'm there, I actually just released a video of the full exploration, and I'm like, I think I see the eyes. I'm standing in. I was totally wrong. I mean, I was undervaluing the scale of this thing. And so a lot of times, like I said, you're at these places, and it's not until you put the drone in the air that you end up seeing the full scope of what you're in the middle of.
Right. And which adds to the mystery of how did they do it if they couldn't see what they were doing.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
100%.
Yeah. Yeah, to be observed from the sky. I mean, what are your thoughts on that and the lines in general? I mean, they've got what looks like landing strips, you know, and like just crazy. Like for what purpose, you know?
I mean, there's a part of me that subscribes to a lot of what Dr. Barnhart has said, because the lines do seem to be constructed along these routes of pilgrimage to the Kawachi pyramids, and so I think that it was some sort of adoration or of ancestors, some sort of ritual in the pilgrimage process. But when it comes to why are you seeing these things from the sky, I mean, it's still up for debate, man.
Yeah.
It's still up for debate.
Yeah, it's just incredible that they were able to do them and to like measure it out. I mean, there had to have some sort of a planning process, and like it's like to be able to draw it out and map it out and measure it and visualize it somehow prior to actually doing it, whether they did it on a smaller scale on the ground first and walked it off with who knows what, ropes or, you know, what steps or whatever they did. But it's incredible stuff for sure.
Well, and it's just like, why?
Yeah.
You know, I mean, it clearly had some sort of deeply rooted, almost spiritual, probably purpose.
Right.
You know, and I mean, it's and there have been studies about the celestial alignments, and the problem is with the Nazca lines, there's so many of them. It's so many were done on top of other ones, and then you have the agriculture stuff happening now and mining and that are destroying these things. So to get a full scope or full picture of how it was back then, it's just really difficult. It's just really difficult. That there could be alignments that it could have been a whole map, you know, but we're missing this piece and missing that piece to say that concretely because over time it was destroyed.
Right, right.